Why do we do this with God? It's like as soon as he don't answer our prayer in the first 5 seconds, we like, oh my God, where you at? Lord, you have forsaken me. And the crazy part is he's with you the whole entire time. So last night, my daughter did something that reminded me of myself. Every night, I have the kids put on the full armor of God before they go to bed, and I like for each one of them to do it on their own so that I'll know that they know it. So last night, my youngest daughter, she's 4, she was getting ready to go to sleep and she was laying in the bed with me. And I said, hold on, don't go to sleep yet because we have to put on the full armor of God. So she turned over. She's like, okay, mommy. So then I say, well, give me your hands. So she give me her little hands. And I say, okay, go ahead. So I say, therefore. And she goes, therefore. So I say, now you go ahead. So she begins to recite the full armor of God. And I'm repeating it after her. So as soon as she say, therefore, I go, therefore. She goes, put on the full armor of God. I say, put on the full armor of God. Like that. As we're doing that, she begins to recite it, but I don't understand what she's saying because she still kind of sound like a baby. So some words are really clear, and then some words I don't know what she's saying. So when she says certain parts that I don't understand, I just stopped. And when I stopped, I'm like, okay, I can either try to make her repeat it, which she knows it. I just didn't want her to lose confidence in what she was doing. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to make her repeat it. So she continued on, and I just stopped when I didn't know what she was saying. So I would just stop and look like. When I stopped, that threw her off. And so I stopped and I just was waiting for her to continue. And when I didn't repeat after her, she would stop and look up at me and she would go, Mom. And I'm like, what? I'm like, go ahead, keep going. So she'll go back and I'll go back to repeating after her. And then if I didn't know what she was saying again, I would stop. And then she looked up again and she said, Mom. And I said, keep going. So by that second time, her eyes started to water. Then she busted out crying. And she goes, Mom. And I said, look at me. Because she was crying and looking down. And I said, look at me. I said, you see me? I'm looking at you. I said, look at my hands. I'm holding your hands. I said, it's okay. You don't have to cry. What's wrong? Why are you frustrated? And she go, I don't know. And so I said, go ahead. Continue. So she continued crying and whining me. So she cried her way through the rest of it, but she did finish it. And so it just reminded me, though, that God is with us all the time on this walk. Like, he hasn't left us. He has not forsaken us. But we freaking out because we like, okay, Lord, where are you at? Whole time, he's still holding our hands. The whole time I was holding her hand. And just because I didn't respond right away, that made her frustrated. That made her sad to the point she just like, okay, Mom, what's going on? Like, she just could not go on. And I was right there with her. It's just really crazy to me, though, because there has been many times in my life where I felt like, oh my goodness, the Lord is not with me right now. Oh my goodness, the Lord is not listening to me right now. Oh my goodness, where's God at? I am suffering and I don't know if I can't feel his presence. There has been so many times where I felt like that. Can't feel him, can't see him, can't hear him. Even moments where I'm like asking God a question. If he does not respond right away, I'm like, he is not listening to me. This is confusing. So I felt like the Lord showed me that last night with my daughter to show how I am. It's funny that the Lord will use your kids to show you how you are. What's your relationship with him? Now, you already know I got a scripture for y'all. So we in Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 8. And it reads, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. So, I hope that this sinks in for y'all. It sunk in for me. I said, oh my God, I cannot believe that the Lord is showing me myself through my child. But he did. So, be encouraged. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Keep the faith. And to God be the glory.